Commitment to continuity will bring emotional and financial stability. All right, Drew, thank you for being the open mic dialer today. This is so helpful to the team as a whole to kind of be able to serve and help out the team. Hopefully that makes you feel good as well. But I know that the team gets a lot out of that. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's definitely a privilege to do in front of the team, and it definitely helps. I was telling Megan, I'm so much more efficient when I'm live dialing. I need to keep this energy after it,
Why do you think that is, though? That you're more like just focused?
Well, one, I know I'm dialing for 2 hours and live dialing, so I try to hold any bathroom breaks until after that. And then it's just call after call. I put in 103 dials in 2 hours, and I haven't done that many dials in a long time. And I guess it's easy just when I'm not live dialing to, I don't want to say slow down, but there's other distractions. I mean, we all know there's other distractions that occur. And so when I'm live dialing, it's just one after the other.
Right, because it's showtime, right? Time to show up and do the do. We can all get that mentality and, I don't know, pretend or think that you're dialing in front of somebody and showing them, even if you're doing it on your own. Think of how much more productive you'd be, right? If we did that every dial session or every recruiting session we have.
Definitely. And you can always, you can't control how many people answer the phone. You can't control how many people hang up on you, but you can control how many dials that you make. I've been reading this book called The 8 Steps to Success, and it talks about activity on there. And every time I've read through it a couple times, but I'm really trying to read through it once a month. And he talks about just the activity. Like, sometimes don't worry about the stats. At the end of the day, if you do enough activity, the stats are going to take care of itself. It's a numbers game. But the one thing that we can control is the activity and how many dials we put in. And so that's what I was conscious of this morning.
I love it. I was talking to my son. This is an aside. No, it was my daughter. I was talking to my daughter yesterday. I was taking her back to school. She came down for the weekend. And about what we do, like you've heard this before, what we do matters, but what we do daily for our work, I told her, no matter if we're sweeping the floors or if we own the company, what we do it every day. It has purpose and meaning somewhere, somehow, some way to somebody. And so if we're going to do it and it's going to take our time, let's do it the best we can do for that day. Does that make sense? Because we're doing it for God.
Absolutely.
I'll just say it. In my head, we're doing it for God. So, and I'm not always perfect, but I'm like, for this day, for this time, for these hours, I'm going to do good job. Like, I'm going to do a great job, right? I think that focus of having, I have somebody sitting here listening, whether you have somebody physically sitting there listening, right, to you, will just make us, if we can all get that, and when we're working the 2 hours or the 3 hours of dialing or whatever it is, if we can all do that within that little block of time, just think how much more productive we'll all be, right? Tell us what your numbers are for today so far.
Live dialing or what I'm at right now?
Where you're at.
I've made 163 dials. I've had 23 connects, and I've booked 16 appointments.
Woohoo! All right. That's awesome. How's it? And what time is it where you're at?
It is noon.
It's noon. And you're basically, how many are you trying to book for today?
My goal is 17. So I have one more for tomorrow. And I have a current client that I think I'm going to put in there.
That's awesome, man. How does it feel to be so focused that you can condense that time frame of the dialing, and now you can call agents, help agents, whatever else you got on your schedule, you can do those things. Isn't that awesome?
Definitely, yeah. It wasn't always like that, that's for sure.
It wasn't always like that?
Right.
It wasn't always like that for any of us. But what do you think attributes to that for you now versus when it wasn't that way for you?
And so, I think mindset over everything is one of the most important things that you can have. Marcus Richardson, we had him on the call a while back, and he was talking about it, just falling in love with the mundane, with what we do, because nothing else, I mean, unless you're outdoor knocking appointments, nothing else matters unless we have the appointments. And when you have, just like you were talking about, when you have that belief that, I mean, we really are a blessing to people. And if you really truly believe that, it shows. I can't tell you, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I can't tell you how many policies I've written off of people that I didn't think, I prejudged them. I was like, okay, this guy, he hung up on me, or he yelled at me. And it's just like, that's not the case. Like, these people, they need your help. I think if you go in there with that mindset, I'm truly a blessing to these people, you won't hesitate to call them back. I booked an appointment today with some guy, and I yelled at Jake, and I was like, man, this guy, every time I've called him, he always seems like he's such in a rush. And he's gotten me off the phone like 3 times. I told Jake, I'm like, I need to hire this guy. He's good. And I told Jake, I said, I'm booking this appointment. And I called him, and he said, Andres, called me by my name as soon as I answered. So he remembered. And I booked the appointment, but it was just about never giving up, because you don't know who's on the other side of that phone that needs your help.
Absolutely. Somebody on that phone call is selling somebody.
Right.
We want it to be you. Anything that we can learn from today, or anything noteworthy in your calls?
Let's see. I had a guy that actually, just like I was talking about, I had a guy that had hung up on me a couple times before. As soon as I got my name out, he hung up on me. I think he might have yelled at me one time. And then I booked the appointment. And there was no objection. And it was just timing, you know? Sometimes you reach out to somebody and they'll have a bad day, but you got to keep your emotions out of it, because people go through stuff all the time.
Well, I mean, what you said is right. Timing for people. They don't know you. They don't care about you. And if they hang up on you, they're not thinking about you, but you're thinking about them. Right. And many times we let that person we don't even know get control of our heads. It goes along a little bit with what our book is. Our book is Outwitting the Devil, for those that don't have it. We've been reading Outwitting the Devil. I suggest you get it. So you don't really give up on that person if they yell at you or cuss you out or whatever. You call them back. They don't even know who you are, right? So you can book the appointment. That's a big thing. Let's not let other people live in our heads. We got enough of our own stuff going on in there, you know?
I don't know who said it, but I had heard it a while back, and it was like, people that hold grudges, just really animosity for somebody, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And just let it go. It's not worth it, you know?
Yeah. Amen.